Hello everybody, Megazard X here, back at it again to give you another very exciting collection reflection video where I go through and take the time to just to go through anything in my game collection, whether it be physical, digital kind of stuff, could be a limited edition, it could be anything on my collection. And today we're going to be talking about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Now, I was actually looking forward to disc for this thing right before this video, and I was like, oh shoot, it was a game I actually had digital for the Wii U. I never picked up the physical version for it on Wii U, or let alone, the re-release for it on the Nintendo Switch though. But that will be the game in question for today's video, because honestly, that game is still one of my top and most favorite platforming games of all time. It's like three of them at the very top, and it's definitely one of them right there. So I'm gonna just go through and give my whole entire thoughts and spill about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and why, if you hadn't played this game, gosh dang, you're sitting down on your rights if you need to do so right now. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Where do I even begin with you? I mean, shoot, my love for the Donkey Kong franchise goes all the way back to Donkey Kong Country's 2. It really started with that game. I already did a collection reflection on that video, so make sure to go ahead and, watch that collection reflection video once you're done with this one though. But my love for the series really started on that, and then has expanded beyond that. Yes, I also managed to start the NES Donkey Kong and stuff, with Mario versus Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr. and stuff. So I was well into the Donkey Kong franchise though. But overall, I thought Donkey Kong was, it was a really good 2D series though. And I thought nothing could be better than Donkey Kong Country 2. That is, until this game dropped on the old faithful day on the Wii U. Why, yes, it didn't really sell like hotcakes on the Wii U. Did better when they re-released it on the Nintendo Switch though. But me, being like one of the few Wii U owners on that system, I was like, I definitely got to try this game out, because I played Returns, the one that came out for Wii right before that. I thought it was a good game and stuff. So I was like, why not go ahead and pick up, Tropical Freeze? And oh gosh, everything from the improvements, because in Returns you had just Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and that was it. And then obviously with Tropical Freeze, we added a couple other new characters in the game. We added the return of Dixie Kong, which I was like, oh, thank goodness. And then also Cranky Kong. It's the one that kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh, okay, now they're cooking. So now you have a little bit of variety between Diddy, Dixie, as well as Cranky Kong, in terms of them assisting you while you're primarily used as Donkey Kong to go through the whole thing. While yes, most people probably play it, as a single player game though, it can be played multiplayer. So then whoever's player 2 can actually control Diddy, Dixie, or even Cranky Kong. It was unique how Cranky Kong uses cane and, just jump off of spikes like that. And then, in Dixie Kong using our ponytail thing, just give you a little extra lift with some of those tight platforming segments though. But I can't get over the fact of how well the music was in this game. Like everything from, just to kind of shoot, you could feel it as you were getting closer and closer back to your main island, because they shot you off from the main island, and then you have to slowly kind of work your way and bounce from island to island to get your way back to the main island though. You can just tell, especially with those ice related ones, you can just tell like, man, it was just getting cold. It was like stuff that you will probably hear, or some music you probably would hear from Vikings and stuff, like, over there in like Europe or something like that. Like it had that kind of vibe. So every little thing that you were doing, whatever island you happen to be on, the vibe was definitely set with the music though. And I think some of my favorite levels within Tropical Freeze was definitely the barrel rides and the minecart rides. I can't say how much I love that theme for either one of those two though, and especially the barrel blast theme though. That one's really iconic for me though. I just love every moment and every second of that though. But I can't tell you how grueling some of these levels are. I mean, granted, you have your Mario 2D levels and you have your Donkey Kong style 2D levels. While Mario 1 is nice and it's a little more accessible for anybody, pick up and play for anybody. Donkey Kong is for those people that, all right, we know you like platforming games. Let's give you a little bit of a challenge. Even with some of the main story ones, as you're just going from level to level, you will have a few of those levels, like such as like a minecart one, where you'll catch yourself dying time and time and time again. It also frustrated me. I don't know if this was Tropical Freeze or Donkey Kong Country Returns though, but they used that game, one of those two games, winning the Nintendo World Championship, some odd years back. And I was screaming at those people like, bro, you gotta tuck your head or something like that. Like there was always like, golly though. Always when you're in the minecart levels, make sure to duck your head because there's just no getting around it. That's just, the safe way going about it though. But nonetheless, though, the level diversity and stuff like that, the stuff you're able to do between the foreground and the background is something I really loved and appreciated. Something I really hammered upon even within the Mario 2D series size, for not having them do anything like that. And I think they finally heard me with Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Like they finally started doing stuff between the foreground and the background though. But remember how Donkey Kong Country series managed to do it first though. But it's just so dynamic with the different levels and stuff. And then just the boss encounters and stuff. Like you have some really good challenging moments up in there. And it causes you to have to kind of think like, how do you approach each one of these different fights? Even when you just do regular levels, like you might have an overall theme. Like for example, you might have a squid that's kind of, going through the waters and stuff. And just like slowly but surely trying to get at you. And you can just kind of tell that it's trying to mess up, your traversal while you're going through this level stuff. Like they had really nice themes for each level as you went through and played though. And then you had the final boss itself, which honestly was really cool, but I won't dive super deep up in that though. But nonetheless though, I think this game was, freaking phenomenal, and the platform and stuff is tight niche. Now for those that want extreme level, as if like the regular game itself wasn't hard enough for you already, you do have those special levels out there where, once you manage to get enough of the Kong letters and stuff, these unique levels will pop up and they are insanely tough. Like I managed to knock out a couple or a few of them, but I never myself managed to go through and do every single one of those insane levels. Like, that's like for the cream of the crop right there. You thought some secret world levels in Mario were difficult. Oh no, Donkey Kong got it beat by a long shot. And I think, out of all of this stuff, I'm saying, oh man, I just really want another brand new Donkey Kong 2D game, man, or something on the levels of Tropical Freeze, because lo and behold, if you're someone like me, one of the few that bought the Wii U, if you're one of those people that like me that played Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U, it's been roughly around a decade. Yes, I said that right. A decade since we had the last Donkey Kong game, period though. Yes, we had the re-release on the Nintendo Switch, but if you're looking for a new adventure and stuff, yeah, it's been about a decade though. And yes, do not talk about Mario versus Donkey Kong. That doesn't technically count. Like, the Mario versus Donkey Kong series, that's a whole nother subset series. It's not quite Mario, it's not quite Donkey Kong. It's its own, whole thing though. More on the puzzle side of things though. And I do like that series when you want a nice change of pace though, but it's not your traditional Donkey Kong game though. So it kind of begs in the question, well, do we get another 2D one or do we get another 3D one? Well, I would say, me personally, I would love to see them take a crack at a 3D Donkey Kong game though, but I would still welcome a 2D one. And in a perfect world, we'll get both within like the Switch 2 or something like that, whenever that system happens to drop though. But nonetheless though, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, that's just such a great and phenomenal game. I remember, playing that on my Wii U. Obviously, you can play it with a Wii remote and nunchuk though, but at the time I had like a Wii U Pro controller and stuff, so that's how I was kind of sitting through and playing through it. It's one of those few games I managed to put a good amount of hours in, right behind Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. 4 for Wii U though. But nonetheless though, that was a super great and phenomenal game. So if you hadn't already done so, I highly recommend it because it is definitely by far my favorite I would dare say my favorite platforming game of all time. The other two that are kind of up there real close with it is Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori Will of the Wisp. So between those three games, that's some of the cream of the crop in terms of platforming games in general, though. The music is freaking phenomenal. The character interactions are great, though. If you haven't pick up the Switch version of the thing, then guess that you have one more additional character with Donkey Kong with that new funky mode up in there. I mean, part of me is saying, hey, you might want to pick that game up just to kind of experience going through and playing it with Donkey Kong. And I'm like, part of me says yeah, but other part of me says you already got the game. Why even bother though? But I don't know. But nonetheless, though, a really great game and a really great series right here. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below. Have you managed to go through and play through Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze? And if not, you really honestly need to get up on that. I don't know if Nintendo will happen to do something like a Nintendo Selects or something like that this year though, or if you happen to catch the game on a good discount. I mean, Nintendo happens to go through and happens to sell things like quarterly and put things on sales and stuff like a spring sale, winter sale, obviously your Black Friday sales and stuff, Cyber Monday. At some point, you need to get yourself on this game because the platforming, this is a grown man's game. Don't let anybody trick you or fool you. This is not a Mario game. This is the Donkey Kong game. And shoot, DK needs to come back and needs to make his epic comeback within the Switch 2. Gosh dang it. Because if I don't get another Donkey Kong game, since it's been a little over a decade, man, I'm about to go ape up on somebody, man. Like, oh shoot, man, I'm going to be thrown down with some bananas or with some people. I'm just saying, man, oh shoot. But yeah, that's going to basically do it in terms of my collection reflection video for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So if you really like this video, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember, y'all, until what video I make next, see y'all.